You're watching Pyro Media News.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
How you doing?
I am doing, what's a new word? I am doing supercalifragilistic. Nope, I'm gonna do this. Supercalifragilisticexpialidociously. Bam.
Okay. I don't know what that means. That sounds like tongues. Let me say, huh? The spirit says that you're doing good.
You know what? I never even thought about that. Probably using it for tongues would have been good because I never really got that gift of tongues. I never really did that. But I also never prayed for it either. You know, it's the Bible says pray for it and you will get it. I said I don't want that. It's okay.
So, I'm gonna leave that one alone because they made us pray for it. You didn't have it unless you hekotobo shatata. You did not have it. And the more sexy your tongue sound, the more Holy Ghost you have.
Yeah. I feel like there's some truth to that. But I feel like I thought it was more important for me to pray for prophetic movement and insight. That's what I always pray for.
I agree with now that I still agree with to this day. Now that ain't got nothing to do, you know. I agree. I still ask the Lord to move prophetically in my mother. Come on.
Yeah. That's what was important to me. I don't need the la 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 la. I don't need it.
You don't need it. Hold on. Wait. Now we're not gonna down nobody whose tongue moves fast. Now
they can do
we
it.
Like a fast moving tongue. Now
it is multifunctional.
We like a fast moving tongue. Now that ain't what she's saying. We want to be clear.
No, not that tongue.
Okay.
But we can do more tongue movement in seduction.
This is Manal's version of dang, Walter. We can't never have a civilized conversation. Okay, I'm back in my box. All right.
There's no box. It's seduction. No, there's really no box. All right. How are you though?
So I am great. I am. I'm just excited. Hey, Dr. Holt. I'm just excited about where my life is and where I see it going. And, I've been praying for the ability to accept what God allows, because sometimes you want things to be different so bad,
Yeah.
but it's just not in the cards. It's just not there. And oh my God, I just love the fact of being able to accept where it's at. Now, if the door opens for things to be different in some areas, I would jump through it in a heartbeat. But as for this moment,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it where it's at.
Yeah, it's crazy you say that too, because like there is transition that is coming up over this next year. And one of the hardest things for me to do is transition away from people that haven't done shit to me, right? It's
Right,
easy.
right.
You piss me off, you know, you ain't worth your salt in
Yeah.
my life. I can bounce, you know, not a problem. But for people who, you know,
Yeah.
I've loved, I've cultivated relationship with, I've been in service to, those transitions are really hard. And
Absolutely.
so today, like what has been on my mind is, Manal, as you elevate, you're gonna have to say bye. As you elevate, you're gonna have to, you know, not be available as you elevate. And so just that
I love it.
accepting that piece for me is huge.
I used to say separation comes before elevation. You know, because sometimes when you're going higher, you know, let me not say this because this is kind of insulting. I used to say the only way to kill rats on your plane is to go higher, and that is really, really insulting to people because you're calling them rats. But I'll just say sometimes you just have to realize that everyone can't travel with you to the destination.
I thought you were gonna say sometimes you have to realize there's worse things you can be called than a rat.
Oh no!
But it's okay. We don't have to do it. Right. It's okay.
Listen, those of you who are tuning in, don't we love Manal's look? Oh my God, it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And I love the earrings. The earrings are an added beauty. Oh, wait, are those African? African? I love it.
We got a little black woman in there.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Dr. Holt says, listen, I have a game plan for this election. We need to get Biden back in the office and prepare the governor for the next for president. You know what, Dr. Holt? You're not that bad. You're not. I agree. I agree. And I'm gonna say this because this isn't what the show is about, but I'm sick of these people talking about, well, I'm not gonna vote. No.
Get off your ass.
There you go. Get off your ass and go vote.
This powerlessness that people just accept is foolishness, and it's totally different than the 2 generations prior, because it doesn't matter what side of the rope you were on. You were loud and proud and in the streets, you know. So I feel like, you know, whether you are right or wrong, you need to be heard. And right or wrong,
I don't want Trump back in office, and I'll make that clear. And I do not speak for the network or anyone connected to Pyro Media. This is Walter speaking for Walter. I don't want him to get the Pyro Media. I don't want. Yeah, I do.
I got you. See, I knew.
Thank you. I don't want him to be in office again. I just don't. But that's my personal opinion. And I personally believe, now I do know the network does want everyone to utilize their American right and vote. But, you know, we don't, as a network, we don't tell people what to vote.
Well, what pisses me off is, and this literally was a situation that happened. There was an older woman in her 60s. She was volunteering at a transitional living home for teenage moms. Yeah. And she was up there working and cooking and teaching them girls and getting them in order. And all of a sudden, somebody said, you can't do it anymore because we found someone in your background from 35 years ago. She hasn't had an infraction. She ain't had a write-up. I don't know about her traffic. Got nothing to do with that. But no problems whatsoever legally. And she got in trouble that one time for stomping out a white man for mistreating her. Now,
Oh,
because of that situation, she can now not be able to volunteer in certain places. She still can't get hired for certain jobs. That's 35 years ago. So if our quote unquote president, I never acknowledged him as a president. Y'all can do it. But that man, the red man, the orange man, the yellow man, whatever color he wanted to be today.
Orange.
If he can go through all of these legal issues and legitimately be a fucked up individual, like on paper, on camera, in person, behind closed doors, all of it, up until today, and he can still be considered for the president, I take issue with that.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But you know what? This is not what the show is about. Because I feel like it's ridiculous. I feel like these jobs need their behind whoop. Because I mean, you got a felon running for president. How come you can't have a felon running your situation? You feel me?
Why can't you have a person who is a parent who is trying to do right by their kids be able to come up and volunteer at the school?
Right. Ridiculous.
Just saying.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And Trump is trying to have sex with his daughter. Anyway, moving on. So, Walter. We have some very interesting things. Allegedly, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Allegedly.
So, we have some interesting things to talk about tonight.
Absolutely.
And I think Donald Trump was a great lead-in, actually, because there's so much foolery. There's so much foolery going on in this world. But I feel like it's our responsibility to talk to our community. You know, I not that I don't love my white people, but I talk to my white people all the time. I want to take the time that we're on Walt Bay Connection to talk to us Black people.
Let's do it.
And so tonight, we trying to figure out where the aunties and uncles at. I need people's villages to really get in order and stand up, because parents need help. Parents need help. And we can sit around all day and look at somebody and say, well, why would they even have kids? Why would they have so many kids? Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? Okay, but the kids are here. They're here.
Right.
And mom and dad need help. And so for me, my whole mission is to try to heal the entire village, because everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a role. And if we play them, y'all, if we play our roles just in our families, in our local communities, the strength that can come from that unity is going to be unmatched. And so we got to talk about these aunt and uncles. Where they at? We need them.
I'm with Dr. Holt. He says, I think I'm in unk status now at 42. At 41, I call myself Uncle Walter, and I do for several reasons. It keeps the youngins to, I'm not trying to mess with no youngin. And it just, just keeps everybody, we are family. We are family. Wow. I'm going to sing that at your birthday just like that.
I'm going to give you several mics because we have to get every note. Okay.
All right. But for every positive, there is a negative. For every movement, every time in life, there's something good, something bad. And believe it or not, these contribute to us moving forward. So this week we have a class and an ass of the week. The class of this week is, I love that background. That was nice, wasn't it? Nice. The class of this week is don't you hate when you're waiting for somebody to do something right and they just fuck it up? The Martins. Now, Manal, you found this story. You tipped me onto this. Exactly what is going on here? I read a little bit about it, but give me some more insight here.
Oh man! So there is this movie that is coming out, and I was just scrolling through social media, found a little thing. So this movie is coming out that's all about this church that is led by the Martins.
Okay.
And the Martins decided to charge their ministry and all of the people that was a part of their ministry to start to adopt the kids in their community.
Okay.
And so they had this huge movement to start to foster kids,
Okay.
and then eventually, of course, adopt. And so, as a church family, they just took over the adoption industry in this area. And
Mm.
one thing that we know is Black kids are usually the last ones that's adopted.
Mm-hmm.
We know that a lot of times kids, they never get adopted, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can literally get taken into the system at 3 years old and never fully get adopted. And so they're consistently in the foster care system, and then they age out at 18 with no
Right.
community and
Mm-hmm.
minimal support. And the foster care system is overrun with kids. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I think about church, one of my biggest gripes with church is that they are usually not community focused.
Right.
They are
Right.
church focused. And so when I
Mm.
came across this story of this church that was actually doing something that was community focused, that actually was people centered, I said, this is something that definitely needs to be highlighted, because it takes the church from being just a building and takes it into now being something that is for the people. And
Yeah.
so I like, this is an example that people can follow when you talk about ministry. What you ministering to, and what for? Because it
Right.
cannot
Right.
just be for
Right.
tongues. It cannot be for your cantatas. It cannot be just for your shouts and praises and cute outfits. Like, you got to do something else.
Mm.
And so this first lady and Pastor Martin, I feel like they're doing an amazing job. And the movie that is coming out is called Sounds of Hope, the story of it's Possum Trot Press. And so it's coming out, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, July 4th, July 5th, somewhere around there. Go
Okay.
support it. Go watch the movie, because we also want more films like this highlighting
Right.
positive things, y'all.
Right. 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 Right.
What
So
you think?
I like what you said. I like what you said. First off, I think this is a dope idea. I like what you said, church versus community, church focused versus community focused. I would like a little more insight, and I'd like a little more of that. Just a little more insight is because I totally agree. I think churches create these echo chambers, and they kind of just, as long as you're saying the same thing, doing the same thing, we're for you. But the minute you do anything outside, we are literally against you. What give us a little more insight as to what it means to be community focused versus church focused.
So there are, and so I'll compare some things. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the main things that you usually hear churches say, and they don't even say this too often anymore, but what you would usually hear them say is they go out and feed the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one of the biggest services that a church provides in general. It's feeding the homeless. And not
Mm-hmm.
that there are some homeless people out there. There's a lot of homeless people out there, and they do need to eat, right? And that's great.
Right.
But when we're talking about affecting community and generations
Mm-hmm.
and building
Mm-hmm.
and rebuilding families and communities, there's so
Mm-hmm.
many children
Yeah.
out there. And so it is looking at the social system as a whole and saying, where as a church can we jump in and fill that void?
Yeah.
And so when you're being people focused, you're looking at how can we create a movement that actually touches people in
Mm-hmm.
ways that's going to affect their entire lives and the generations after their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is being church focused versus community focused. You can go out and feed and it sounds good. Go feed
Right.
somebody.
Right.
It sounds good. But what are you doing after that? Does that person now have meals for the rest of their lives? Have they now learned some skills so they can go out and get
Mhm.
food for themselves? Like, what are you doing beyond that? Now, as a church, are y'all putting together funds to open up a home for homeless
Mhm.
people?
Mhm.
See,
Mhm.
because that is going to affect more people. That is going to
Right.
be a more long-term plan.
Right.
That
Right.
takes
Right.
work. It don't just sound good. It takes work,
Yeah.
you know. And
And
so church,
it'll
yeah,
benefit people whether they're a part of your church or not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's more of a service for humanity. Dr. Holt says, my church has a free clinic, I like, a serious food pantry, I like, and a
Yeah.
community gym. That's why I pay my tithe. I
There you
absolutely
go.
agree
There you go.
with
What church is that?
this.
See, that's the church you need to highlight. That's one.
Does your church like the gays? Hold on.
That's another.
Can the gays come to your church and be openly part of the gays? let's not be messy. Let's not be messy. But for every class, there is an ass. And so this week we have the class of the week, which is the Martins, but we also have the asses of the week. Oh, he said full of the girls. I might have to come visit. Yay God. This kid. Wait. Okay, yeah. Obviously he is underage, so we can't, disclose his identity. But why is this gentleman the ass of the week, Manal?
Oh man. Kwame, you got that clip. So there was this big thing going around on social media for a little while. This
Mm-hmm.
child's grandparent was searching for them, saying that they were missing.
Oh
And all of
no.
a sudden, this kid drops drops a diss track for his grandmama.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's listen to what he had to say to grandmama.
Boom, 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 boom.
You could press play.
I just been chillin'. I just been chillin', living like these hoes capping. Or not missing, let you know. This hoe crazy. On God, this little hoe trippin'. Tell my dad I'm missing. I ain't missing. I'm just standing on business. You talking about you gon' get me? Nah, little hoe, you just trippin'. Don't forget on your grandson. Don't make me come through with those switches. On God, hoe, why you done lied to the whole net? Talking about I'm missing. I ain't missing. I'm just living my best. I don't wanna come back home to granny. She know what up next. She keep on talking. I send shot straight through her check. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. I just been chillin'.
So, no. Now listen, I'm an audio engineer, and sometimes I have to record songs I disagree with. But I would be damned, and I don't give a fuck if they have to edit this out. I don't give a damn if I'd be damned if I sit there and record some shit like this. The audio engineer need their ass whooped. Whoever gave permission for the beat to be used need their ass whooped. There ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell. Ooh.
Walter, I would snatch that kid up. I first of all, I don't care what your grandmama said and did. What you not finna do is call her no hoe. That's what you not gonna do.
3 or 4 times.
Never.
Not just a hoe.
And then he talking
Little
about
hoe.
coming by and shooting her. What? What she tell you to do? Go to bed? Did she tell you to go to school?
Get back in the shower and wash your ass because you didn't do it right. You didn't do a thorough job. Like,
did she tell you to take the trash out? Did she talk to your non-reading ass? I'm trying to get an understanding why now you feel like you need to run away. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know this boy situation. I don't. I'm in social services. I done seen a lot of things, and sometimes grandparents can be trash. I get it. I understand. It happens. But sir,
No, this is
for
giving me he's
kids these
spoiled.
days, I, it
This
really
is
could
giving
go
me
either way.
Nah, I can't.
What
Nah,
you
he's
think?
giving me. He's giving me. He is spoiled. Grandma gives me. I didn't see. I didn't read her post, but this is giving me. My grandma spoiled me, and she's finally standing on business. So I gotta let her know what the hell is up. That's the energy I'm getting.
Where is Joe when you need him? You know, he might have been too hard on Michael. He might have been too hard on Jermaine. You know, he might have went too hard on Janet Reeby. I don't know, but this one, he needs Joe Jackson.
Kwame Speaks says, ask me what I would say to his ass if he came back in my house. So, as you know what? And oh my God, I feel like y'all gonna come for me after I say this.
Well, okay, I'm interested.
At a certain age, if you're doing shit like this, you're gonna have to get out there and find the fuck out what it is. Period. If you that grown to tell me you're gonna put a couple in my chest, why don't you get out there and see how much ammunition cost and how much a gun cost? So you run up talking about what you gonna do to me, because you got to buy that shit first.
Don't you bring no bullshit in here. Don't you bring no bullshit in here. Don't you bring no bullshit in here. Don't you bring.
That song ministers to me every time. It just
speaks to the right part of your spirit.
Yes,
like on the one hand, like how can you trust him running up and through your home
while you sleep and shit?
I don't know what he's into. I don't know what he's into. But what I will say is he would come home to nothing. You gonna have to earn your bed at this point, my brother.
Did I read that he's like 15 years old?
15.
Yeah, no, he would have to. No, I'm sorry, and I know some of y'all may not agree. He would have to find out what the fuck it really is. I'm sorry.
He would come back to nothing.
Okay.
And he would come back to a team of people. And this is what I mean. This is what made me say, where are the aunts and uncles? Because clearly he's primarily with grandparents. Absolutely. Right? Whatever happened with his parent, we don't know. You know, life happens, and a lot of times those kids are they're pissed, they're frustrated, they mad, they want their parent, and their parent's not available. We don't know what happened, so now grandparent has stepped in. We got a lot of shit going on. But where is the auntie and the uncle that's like coming up in there and checking him?
I agree. So after thinking, my sober mind came back. I don't know if I would kick him out because I would put up with somebody else's shit. But he would definitely come back to a really, really strict home.
He coming back to a system. That's what if you never knew what a system was, you're gonna find out.
Now, Dr. Holt made a very, very interesting observation, and I like this observation because I think when we talk about the Black community, and I want to be very clear. I would not bring this conversation is not something I would bring up when we talk about Black Lives Matter.
No.
This is the space where we have these conversations. You don't bring this shit up when they're trying to act like all of us are just no. You leave this shit. This shit don't exist when they're trying to call us all delinquent.
We talk about this in a barbershop.
Right. This us conversation.
The church. We talk about this in the church, guys.
This is our conversation. You don't take this over there to them and let them start talking shit about us, okay? But I think a lot of times our educators get overlooked, and sometimes they get they're negatively viewed because they get to see the raw side of our failures as Black parents.
Yeah.
I remember I was so offended one year. My brother is a school principal. and he came to the family cookout, and he was like, these black kids. Now he's talking to us. This is not something he would say in a room. And you know my older brother. He was like, these black kids are very disrespectful and very poorly behaved. And he was like, sometimes I wonder who is raising this next generation. And so I remember I got so up in my feelings, and he and my older brother, he checked me. He was like, you're saying that because you're dealing with your kids, those kids at the church, you know, kids that you put good stock in. So at a certain point, they got some drawback. He said, I'm out here dealing with these kids whose parents don't give a fuck about them, you know.
Who's going through? Those parents are going through.
He said he had the biggest culture shock of his life when the student cussed him out, and he said, I'm gonna call your mom, because he's trying to work with the kid. And the kid said, my mama not gonna care, she gonna cuss you out too. And he said, no, she not. Picked up the phone, called the mama, and the mama cussed him out.
Don't call me for nothing. You handle it at the school. I'm gonna talk to him at home, you talk to him at school.
Right. And so from that, you know, with my older brother, I don't always take his wisdom right then, but I do go listen after he speaks. I begin to look at things from that standpoint. And, you know, of course, I really keep him in prayer, because dealing with that, it's got to be hard. But I also admire his heart, because he's done it for so long, you know, to be dealing with that. So, Dr. Hope, my hat is definitely off to you. And I definitely think I agree with Kwame. He says, that's wild. Shake my damn head. You don't get paid enough. I absolutely agree with that. Now, we're going to have to pick this up in a few minutes, because we have a commercial break that we have to get to here real quick. But I want you all to keep thinking about this. Where are the aunties? Where's the damn village when you need the village? Go ahead and take us away, Kwame.
Elevate your entertainment with Watch Vim. Discover the ultimate online streaming destination. Get an auto-renewing monthly subscription for unlimited content on all devices. Join us in supporting a Black-owned streaming platform that brings top-tier entertainment. Let the streaming excitement begin at Watch Vim, your seamless experience for endless entertainment. Stream online or download the Watch Vim app now.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19. But their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
Know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bulletin Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bullet in Flight Radio.
You know, I was thinking, Manal, while we was on commercial break, not just the aunties and uncles, but where the cousins at? Because I wish one of my cousins would threaten my grandma. Those of us, so now some of my cousins is crazy, but those of us with sense would definitely have to bond together and counteract that. No, that's not. No, that's not going to happen.
But so it's. I think it also depends on the generation, right? Because if cousin is the same age as you, 9 times out of 10 they acting the same, right? But we, with our families, when we were closer together, and we were having these, family get-togethers, and we had the second cousin and the third cousin, and and they were the ones who was checking us, and they were like aunts and uncles too, because they were so much older than us. And so it's still like that same energy, like. I have your primary caregivers back because you need to fix it, right? And so to have somebody that can just step in, that can just check them, because as parents, we get tired. Yeah, we get tired. I done told them to clean up their room every single day this week, and I took their PlayStation away. I told them to turn the TV off. I made them go to bed early. Some of them, I whipped their ass. I've done all the things, and they still don't get it.
Right.
I'm tired. I ain't talking to them next week. I got to go talk to this employer. I got to go pay these bills. I got to go do all of this. I'm not talking to them no more. And then you call your sister, man, I'm tired of talking to these kids, man. I'm over it. And sister say, before you hang up the phone, she's in your driveway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm on the phone with my brother. Hey, man, these kids, man, I'll be trying to get them. I got them all the cleaning supplies they need. They ain't swept a floor. They ain't mopped nothing. They ain't wiped the toilet. He's in your driveway before you get off the phone. That is what is missing.
Yeah, we, like you say, it used to be something like that. My mom's sisters all knew they could, put a foot in our ass. When some shit was not going right.
And why do you think that changed though, Walter? What the hell happened?
Distance in the family breakdown, honestly, is what happened. I feel like, and I know this is going to be cliche as hell when I say this, I think we got so caught up in trying to be the kid's friend that we forgot that there still has to be, even though we are there and we understand, and we're going to parent a little more cognitively, we still have to parent. And I think that's where we lost it's a delicate balance. I had the opportunity to raise my nephews until they were of a certain age. And it's a difficult thing to balance when they become older teens going into adulthood, because at that point you cross over from being just a parent, you kind of cross over to being a friend and a coach as well. And so you kind of have to learn how to balance that teeter of I am your parental figure. So I do have to correct you when you're wrong, but I'm also here to console, to listen to you, and to give you some sound advice when necessary. That's a tough line to toe. What happened though is because of the abuse. So I don't want to just come off like I'm just chopping people's heads off. Because of the abuse, we went too far to one extreme to avoid the other.
Walter. I think that's some of it. But I think some of the other key factors are that parents have gotten younger, like overall. There
Right,
used
okay,
to be,
okay.
young parents here and there, but I think there's a whole generation of just young parents.
I'm gonna get pushback. While we may not get to our other things, so we may have to do a part 2 on this. Young parents, but we can't get that to be the case. These are young people who are resistant to wisdom, though. You know, when I had my child, and so my child, I had my child later in life. I had my child when I was like 27. My child was born rather when I was 27. I began to raise my nephews and nieces though when I wasn't even 20. I was like 18. But because I wasn't resistant to knowledge and wisdom, I was able to be that father figure and exercise some level of maturity because I had listened to the wisdom of the generations before. A lot of the young people, I would say born in the 90s on, are just resistant to anyone telling them 1 + 1 = 2. Why? Why I gotta equal 2? Who told you it equals 2? Listen. We can discuss that later, but for now, you need to understand the concept that within the confines of this, if you want to function here, 1 + 1 = 2. Well, I'm gonna go over here where I can make 1 + 1 = 4. And a lot of times, this is what is happening. And then you got these people that'll get behind them and support them, and be like, well, if he wants to identify 2 as 4, then we have to let. And I know what I'm saying can be weaponized. Please, people, understand. I am not talking about sexual identity, and I'm not talking about. I am not talking about identity in general. I'm talking about people that just refuse to accept the fact, that as a parent, you have to parent your child. You have to give parameters. As a parent, there's going to be a time where you have to say no. There's going to have to be a time where you have to, as a parent. Okay, I'm sorry. I see you.
But that's some of it. That's some of it. I'm in these parents' homes. Okay, that's some of it. Some of it is we just don't know how to set boundaries, and we don't know how to, say no, check these kids. That's some of it. There's this whole other element though of people with mental health challenges that are unchecked, that are now having to raise kids with mental health challenges. So now we got these multi-generational households with legitimate mental health issues that are not being managed at all.
Right.
We got a whole other set of people where it is literally these individuals are so weighed down with the realities of life that we have to go through as Black people. We have a different tax in life, and some of us are not equipped to rise above that reality. And so they've just given up, and so a lot of times you see them, they've already tapped out. They don't feel like they have a chance. They don't feel like their kids have a chance, and they're not investing in anything. They're doing the bare minimum so they don't go to jail. And so there's no hope in that household. So what that kid gonna do? What they gonna do? Right?
Dr. Holt.
Real. Ain't no sense nowhere. And then and I feel like there is a difference between having a kid in your youth and having a kid when you are absolutely just not ready versus when you have a kid and you are aged, right? You are a little bit more settled in your person. You know who you are. You have a sense of identity. You having a kid most times because you have chosen. You are stepping into that versus it being thrust upon you because you just didn't manage yourself, right?
Right.
I was a person, I had my kid at 22. I wasn't ready for a lot of things, but I was still heads and shoulders above the 16-year-old that had a kid.
Right.
And so that 16-year-old that had a kid, they thought it was cool to play Grand Theft Auto with their 3-year-old. They thought it was cool. And so I do believe that the age of the parent does play a factor in the way that they raise their kids. They don't like hearing no. They gonna tell the kid no.
I can't. So I mean, wait. I can agree with you to an extent, but I have to get to a bus stop and then get off at a certain point because, like, I've seen it just so many times. Like, some young parents. And I will give you that. Some young parents. It's like an innate wisdom that comes upon them when they become a parent.
If it's in them.
If it's in them, I'll give you that. But I want to get to some of these comments over here. Number one being Dr. Holt. The grandma in 2024 is still in the club, and I believe in that.
Yeah,
I do believe in that. I believe that. But I will also say, as long as it's done healthily, and she still has her, because I go to the club with a few grandmas because I'm in that age bracket. Don't do me. But again, the people I hang out with, they make sure the grandkids are taken care of. If we're ever hanging out and the grandkids are there, there's firm boundaries. You're not doing this or that and the fifth in front of the grandchildren. You're not saying this, that. We're not having these conversations in front of the grandkids. There's boundaries, as far as when the grandkids are present. And so I absolutely believe that, yes, my grandma was too old to be in the club. My grandma was like 60 plus, well, let me hush because I done partied with some 60-year-olds. Let me just shut what I like to call the hell up on this one. Go ahead on.
And it was cool too, because back, I feel like Pisces, we always find each other around our birthdays. It's just really interesting. Because literally, it was like 1 week I was out somewhere, somebody was celebrating their birthday. And then the next week I went out and somebody was celebrating their birthday. And it was just back-to-back Pisces. But one of the ladies, I think she was turning like 65 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she was having the time of her life. Out at the club. But she was an educator.
Okay.
She was actually an administrator. And then she also did a lot of community work. And why do I know this? Because we talked while we were there. We danced, we drank, we talked. And so a different kind of grandma. Most of her grandkids, her older grandkids, were there with her, and they had the utmost respect for her.
Okay.
Hey grandma, what you want to drink? Hey grandma, what you want? Hey grandma, it's your night. Utmost respect for grandma. And what that tells me is, as far as her being the head of her family, she has done so respectfully.
She's done the work, right?
She's instilled that. She's earned that position. And so when we talk about, where the grandparents at, how many of them actually want to be grandparents? Most of them didn't want to be parents, and they had to be parents. And now they have grandkids, and they like, nah, these kids whoop my ass, they gonna whoop your ass. I'm gone.
That's where we get the phrase "fuck them kids" from.
We get them from the grandparents. No, I'm just kidding. So, I feel like, again, it just goes back to us not being able to see ourselves coming out of these realities that we exist in, and not knowing what it takes to get out of it. Because now, Walter, we about to dip into something else totally different. But there's so many systems. I don't like this. You better go all the way in. Don't tease me.
Grandma with coochie.
So, yes, with the fringe. Don't forget the fringe coming off the leg. But there's wait. Hold on, wait. What would you say about the IEPs? Hold on.
So many IEPs on my desk.
From ninth graders. Yeah. Yes. But see, okay. So let me say what I'm saying, and I'm gonna go back to that. So, like, we have so many people that were having kids, and they are legitimately not prepared for the realities of this world. And Walter, I feel like this is me. I feel like church has been a big problem with that. Because they don't teach life. They don't teach reality.
They teach Hayabo.
Right. And imagine if there's so many more people in churches and there are programs that are being ran in the church that are teaching people how to speak, that are teaching them etiquette, that are teaching them how to put a resume together, that are teaching them how to create businesses and hire and train more Black people so that way we can help ourselves do better. Right. And so we got grandma that got married when she was 20 and she had 5 kids and she never had a life and she tired. She been working and now her 5 kids, they got 18 kids between the 5 of them. And so now grandma's done. Grandma's done.
Yeah, they believe in throwing that coochie around. Hold on.
Slang it. Throw that thing in a circle.
Hey!
No, you gotta. Grandma don't want to be a part of that no more. Grandma is just not finding her breath.
Okay. Now, what do you say? The comment that Kwame put up, Kwame Speaks Official, on YouTube, he put up, he says, I don't think that they are resistant to wisdom. I think some of the wisdom is not being articulated in a way that is relevant to this day and age. Technology is king now. It's different. He continues. Having rumors spread in high school back in the day is different than now, right? The 100 people in your grade knows now. In your grade knows now. It's millions of people around the world. Absolutely. So, I would say this, Kwame, and I want to absolutely agree with you that I do believe that things have changed. I absolutely believe that things have changed. And I do think that the way we communicate does need to mature and come more current. I absolutely believe that. I hope I'm making sense.
You are making sense.
But I still think that a lot of the issue is that many of them they just don't want to be told no. And they don't want to be told that it has to be this way. And I believe in thinking out of the box and creating your own path, but let's get the foundations in first. Let's get the foundation there first, and then we can expound and be elaborate after that.
But Walter, so here's other things, right? Parents, we gotta work. This is going back to the systems. There's so many of us who are not even able to be at home the way we need to be and want to be because we're just trying to make life move. Reality. Right. And so all of this home training that used to occur is not occurring anymore because we're trying to make money just to keep the lights on, just to try to get our cars fixed, just to try to keep our nails looking good so we're not looking a hot mess out here, right? And so so that extra teaching, that extra support, it has to come from your village. It has to.
So I totally agree with that. I also would like to add that it's also going to help us. By the way, Kwame, I didn't address the cyberbullying aspect of that too, but we'll get back to it. We may have to deal with that in seduction. I think that once we rid ourselves of gender norms, it would also help. And this is why I say that, because there were some things for my nieces, I'll talk about that. There were some things that I was more equipped to teach as a man to some of my nieces. Now, I'm not talking about hygiene and stuff, but just things about life. But because I was a male, it was frowned upon for me to teach things like, okay, cook. Okay, this is how you clean. This is how you properly take care of this, that, and the fifth. It's just frowned upon for a man to do certain things in certain circles. But once you free yourself from that, you realize it doesn't matter who gets the credit as long as the job gets done, especially when we're talking about raising the next generation. It really doesn't matter who gets the credit. We just need the job done.
We just need to plan it.
Right. And so we can get back to some of that home training. This is how you balance a checkbook. This is how we may not write checks, but you still need to keep a ledger so you know how much money you done spent. So you're not over here. This is why your card declining because you don't.
Yeah, Yeah.
These are different things I think we can really, really teach if we would just get rid of gender norms and just teach people how to be, functional adults.
That's a good point. But I think some of it too is, and I'm always going to take it back to the adults. At what point are you going to put pressure on yourself for your personal development? Because you also have to be a person that a youth is going to want to listen to. Exactly. And we allow our kids to be so just saturated with all of this social media and everything outside of you, outside of the home, that when it is time for you to speak, you don't have any authority. And so it's not even just the saying no. I nothing that comes out of your mouth is what I want to hear, because of who you are and who you are to me. And it ain't because you're my parent or my grandparent or my aunt and uncle. You're just not somebody that I want to listen to. And so, and I'm gonna give you an example. So like me and my son, we wear onesies. Love them. Okay. Love a good onesie. Now, my child is a preteen, but he still loves his onesies. And when other teenagers have seen him, they've said, they've poked fun at him. And I literally sat down with one of those young men and I showed him rappers in onesies. And he was like, okay, I might wear a onesie now. So me telling you it was okay wasn't enough. You seeing my son in it wasn't enough. You had to see, you had to see a rapper in a onesie in order for you to know that it was okay. And so when I talk about seeds being planted and you being a person that a young person would even want to hear from, you have to be more valuable than the rapper that they listen to on the radio or that they listen to on TikTok clips.
Absolutely. Listen, we're definitely going to have to come back and do a part 2 on this one next week. This one is a good, heavy topic. This isn't what we planned to discuss tonight, but we got in there. We got in that thing. But we do want you all to tune in next week when we come back with another Walt Bay Connection.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.